Hello, in this topic we are going to learn how to assign the resources that we have created, the human resource, the machine resource, or the material resource that we have created. Then how do you assign them to your project tasks? So these are the resources which I have currently now, two work resource, one material and one cost resource. So let us see how do you assign them. Now to assign these resources, best suitable view which I find is always the Gantt chart view. So I'll just go to view and go back to Gantt chart. So here I have, now there are again multiple ways of uh, assigning these resources. So let's say I need to assign Jack while in collecting the requirements. So I'll just double click this task, and the task information box opens, and then the resources come, and then the resources I can select Jack here and click OK to save it. So Jack gets assigned to the respective project which I can see, to the respective tasks which I can see in the graph view and in the tabular view as well. I can also assign resources, like let's say create WBS will be done by the team of engineers. So if I just go to the right of the task, I see the resources column, and if I click from the drop down, I can click engineers from here, and engineers get assigned to the respective tasks. So this is how you assign resources. I can also do it from the ribbon bar. So if I let's say define scope will also be done by Jack, so I'll select define scope and click on under resource tab, click on assign resources. So then I have all the resources coming up again, and click on Jack and click on assign. So then close it to save. So this is how you assign the resources. Now if you see, as soon as I assign the resources, in both the cases Jack, there is a red icon which has appeared. That means Jack is getting over allocated. And why? Because if you see, there is some portion of the activities which are running parallelly. Remember, we added some lead time, 20%, so 20% is the time. Because what happens whenever you assign a resource, and in a resource sheet, if I go back to resource sheet, we have set Jack as 100% available. That means 8 hours a day, which means as soon as I assign the resource to this respective task, the software will assume that in both the cases is going to put in 100%. So whenever tasks overlap, there will be an over allocation. That might not be the case. He might be putting half of day's effort while doing this job. So again, those resource adjustments, assignment adjustments we have to make. That we'll do in the subsequent topic, but let us understand how to assign the resources now fully. So we assign the work resource. So this is how you assign work resource. Now how do you assign material and cost resource? So let's say there is an activity called training. In this activity training, let's say I'm going to use manuals as one of the materials, and also there will be certain traveling required for the team, and I also want to track those traveling expenses. So how do you, so first let us understand how do you assign material resource. I'll just double click the task again and click task information box and click on resources. From here I'll select manuals as my material, and then by default it takes one copy. Then here I have to decide that how many copies of manuals I'm going to do use in this particular type of task. So let's say there are 10 people who will be attending this training, so I can type 10 copies. So as soon as I type 10 copies, click OK. Manual 10 copies is being assigned. I can also see it on the graph side if I just scroll to manual 10 copy, and if I double click again, if you see in the resources to the cost is also calculated, which is taken 63 multiplied by 10, because if you remember we assigned some escalation of cost of these materials. So this is how you assign material resource, that you have to assign and decide how many units you are going to use. Similarly in this I also want to track let's say cost of travel. So I'll just double click this task, and under this I'll click on travel. Here I have to decide that how much money I'm planning to spend in the traveling. So let's say there are 10 users, so I'm going to spend around 3000 per user for traveling. So 3000 multiplied by 10 comes to 30,000. So this is what I'm planning. Now this is planned, this is not actuals. When I'll update this task, I have to manually go and enter how much actual cost have been incurred against travel, so that the software can do the variance analysis. So I assign travel. So as soon as I assign travel, I can click OK to save it. So travel has been assigned as 30,000. So this is how you assign your work resources, your material resources, your machine resources, your cost resources. Now again I reiterate, while assigning a human resource, what I need to do is just double click the task, assign that resource, and the cost will be calculated automatically. What I need to do is that adjust the units, which we'll do in the later topics. Unit 100% means 100% jack is assigned to this activity, and whenever there will be activities which are running parallel, it will show over allocation, as is the case with jack. Then if I have to assign material resource, I'll just double click the task and then decide which material I'm going to use and define the units. Cost I don't have to define, whereas for cost I have to assign that cost resource and decide how much cost I'm planning to spend in this respective activity. So this is how you assign your resources to your respective activities. This is how assignment should happen. So let me assign resources to all of them. Scope baseline sets a milestone. Let's say again Jack will be is the person who's doing it. High level design, low level design will be done by the engineers. Let's say engineers. Given detailed design also will be done by engineers, let's suppose. So then I'll create few more resources as developers and testers. I'll just go to view resource sheet and let me create few more developers. So let's say developer is a group. I have 4 developers. Let's say, so I'll type here 400%. Then I can write the standard rate, which is let's say $60 per hour, and then I will have testers, work resource. Let's have 2 testers. I'll type here 200%. Let's say their rate is $50 per hour. So all these resources are created, and again I go back to Gantt chart, and under analysis let me have Jack assigned there, development, developers, test. I'll use testers, and documentation also will be done by the testers. So again it will show an overall location if again tasks are running parallelly. So because as soon as we assign resources to tasks, it might show that 100% involvement is there in the project and the activities, so that's why the overall evaluation might come. So make sure you do the proper assignment of resources, because this is where the job will be done by the team, and any wrong allocation might lead to wrong outcome of your project, and you might have to spend a lot of time in reworking. The software won't tell you that which resource to be assigned to which task. It is your job as the planner, as the scheduler, to identify the appropriate resource, checking their availability and assigning them to the respective tasks appropriately. The objective here is again I reiterated it earlier also, and again I'm reiterating, the objective here is not to tell you how to do a software development project. The objective here is to tell you how to use Microsoft projects. So you might contest me that why high level design and detail design are done by engineers. Again, this is just here I showed you how to assign resources. I'm not saying that engineers do high level designing or detailed designing. So you need to identify who's the appropriate resource to do your job and assign them to that respective task. So in the next topic, what we'll see how to adjust resource assignment, because I see some over allocation, how to use different views to see over allocation, and how to adjust those assignments. So that's it for this topic. Thank you very much, but make sure you keep continuing with looking at the other videos, so that you have an overall understanding of how to use Microsoft project. Thank you.